So I'm using this diagram to basically give you a general idea of the biomes of the Northern Hemisphere, focusing on the Northern Hemisphere because that's where most of the land is. So let's look at the graph and focus on the axes first. So looking on this vertical axis, I'm talking about temperature. Cold, and when I mean cold, I'm thinking North Pole cold. I'm using the Arctic Circle as a line of latitude to kind of show us where it breaks down. Tropic of Cancer for our other major line of latitude that shows us where the transition occurs. And then hot, we're talking about equator hot. When we look at this axis here, our x-axis, we're talking about precipitation, wet and dry. 100 centimeters tends to be the cutoff. If we have more than 100 centimeters of rain, we can support trees. Less, we tend to get our grasses. Less than 10 centimeters of rain or some kind of precipitation, and then we tend to get our succulent plants, which you tend to find in the desert. These are real meaty, leafy plants, like a cactus, or an aloe plant is a succulent plant. So thinking about this, our tropical rainforest is our hottest, wettest biome. So it's hot, it's close to the equator, and it's wet, at least 100 centimeters of rain a year. Some places they have a distinct wet and dry season where you're getting 100 centimeters of rain in like 4 months, and then it dries up and you don't have any rain for like 6 months. Sometimes it's nice and steady. A lot of this has to do with the geography, mountain ranges, how close they are to ocean currents. But a tropical rainforest, hottest, wettest biome that we have. Now, if we start to move away from the equator, we still are getting 100 centimeters of rain, so we're supporting our trees. But now our trees are going to have to deal with this, nice, great, abundant sunshine during the summertime. And then during the wintertime, we've got ice and snow. So we get our temperate deciduous forests. These are our hardwoods that tend to lose their leaves during the wintertime. Deciduous, losing our leaves. Oak, maple, hickory, poplar. This is basically our ecosystem, our biome that we live in. And then if we go up north to Canada, we get the largest continuous biome on the planet. This is our northern coniferous forest. Some places they call it a taiga. Some places they call it a boreal forest. They all are the exact same thing. Large coniferous trees, basically Christmas trees. Now we move into the area where we don't quite get 100 centimeters of precipitation. We get our grasslands. Our savanna is our tropical grasslands. Then we have, the prairies, the steppes, basically the mid-latitude grasslands. And then up north in Canada, our tundra, I like to think of our tundra, as our polar grasslands. Some authors will call it a polar desert, but I just don't like that definition. There is a polar desert. We find it in Tibet, and I think tundra is more of a grassland, shrub area, permafrost. Then we have our tropical deserts, our temperate deserts, and our polar deserts, less than 10 centimeters of rain. Now, there's some characteristics that you need to know for each one of these biomes. The tropical rainforest has the greatest amount of biodiversity. Bio means life, so this is living diversity. Temperate deciduous forest is our biome. The northern coniferous forest is the largest continuous biome on the planet. Our savanna is where we have our large migratory mammals, and this ecosystem is maintained, this biome is maintained by fire. Our grasslands, again, large mammals, and in the United States it would be like our bison, great, huge, rich, thick soils. And then our tundra has a layer underneath the ground that's permanently frozen, and this is why you'll see very stunted tree growth and braided rivers, because the water can't cut down below the permafrost, so it has to go back and forth. Our polar desert is found in Tibet. Our temperate desert is wild, wild west, Clint Eastwood. You're thinking about, ghost towns and tumbleweed and our succulent plants. And then our tropical desert, you want to be thinking Aladdin, camels, sand dunes, genies, flying carpets. No, there's no genies, there's no flying carpets, but think about Aladdin, big, huge sand dunes with tropical oasis. So that is basically the Northern Hemisphere biomes. Again, geography is going to play a part in this, so we could have a mountain range that's going to mess up our general rule of thought, but this is what we use to predict which biome we're going to have, where we're going to find it.